An injured Zoro carries Luffy and his cage on his fucking back. Apparently, despite the fact that the Buggy bomb can take out an entire row of houses, it appears that the Buggy pirates have survived pretty much unscathed. Buggy sends out Beast Tamer Moji to be the mid-boss of the series, and by that I mean to take out the heroes. Zoro parks the cage next to a dog, which doesn't seem too friendly. Also, Nami's caught up. Already, Luffy's just taken to calling her navigator. Earlier, he told Zoro that's who she was. But she's also a thief, which means she's already got the key to the cage, which she throws to Luffy. But the dog intercepts it and eats the key. That's why you pass and do not throw. I said pass, do not throw. This guy is the mayor of Orange Town, and he does not appreciate strangers attacking their local dogs. He sees Zoro is injured and puts him in one of the houses. He should see a doctor, but Zoro insists he can just sleep it off.
Stab wound? No problem. Just gonna sleep it off. Stab wound? No problem. I'm just gonna sleep it off. Stab wound? No problem. I'm just gonna sleep it off. Stab wound? No problem. I'm just gonna sleep it off. Stab.
The dog's called Shushu, and it's time for his backstory. Yes, the dog has a backstory. The dog has a backstory. The mayor, who's here to feed the dog, explains Shushu is guarding the pet store. 2 months ago, the dog's master died from an illness. Now, Shushu's a smart dog. He knows the owner's dead, so he's not just waiting for him to return. No, the shop is his treasure. He guards the shop in honour of his dead master. Well, the mid-boss has arrived with his giant fucking lion. Everyone runs off apart from Luffy, who's stuck, and Shushu, who's diligently guarding his post. Moji tries and fails to tame Shushu, then asks where Zoro is, who the Buggy pirates presume is the most dangerous one. Well, Richie kindly lets Luffy out of his cage and punches Luffy into a house. They should be going after Zoro, but Richie is more interested in the pet store. I have to wonder if he's named after Lionel Richie. Luffy is obviously fine, much to the surprise of Nami and the mayor. Despite his best efforts, Shushu is unable to defend the store against the giant fucking lion, and the dog gets a flashback. The dog gets a flashback. While fighting the lion, he remembers trying to help his master and being told to guard the place until he comes back from the hospital. Somehow, a lion attack has caused the pet food store to catch on fire. Luffy catches up with Moji, well, to Richie, who he takes out easily. Beating up Moji's just a formality, what he deserves for letting that lion destroy Shushu's treasure. Nearby, Nami moans about how all pirates are the same, that they take what people hold dear without a second thought. Every time I see this, it reminds me of a similar speech Tifa gave to Cloud in Final Fantasy VII about soldiers. Nami berates Luffy for being a pirate, then threatens to murder him. Luffy just remarks that she couldn't. Then Luffy gives Shushu back some pet food, all he could retrieve from Richie of Shushu's treasure. He also gives the dog a little post-battle pep talk. This wins over Nami, who might finally understand that Luffy isn't like other pirates.
This has begged the question of why Luffy's so goddamn nice. I mean, I know it's his dream to find the One Piece, but he doesn't necessarily have to be a pirate to do that, does he?
Elsewhere, Buggy finds out that someone has managed to take out Moji and decides to blow up the town. And so now the town gets a backstory, why not? Everybody gets a backstory. I think this calls for a really fakey sounding drum roll. Are you ready? They built the town from scratch 40 years ago. There, I did the quick version. You see, this town is the townsfolk's treasure, and are you sensing a pattern yet?
Fire a special buggy ball. Blow this town away!
Ah! Zoro was sleeping in there!
That's one hell of a way to wake a guy up.
At this point, I think you could probably decapitate Zoro and somehow he'd still be fine. But the mayor is upset and plans to take on Buggy himself. Luckily, Luffy likes that guy, so he's not going to let him die. He asks Nami again if she wants to join the crew, and Nami says she will not be a pirate, but they can work on common interests, for now. Mayor Boodle has gotten to Buggy, and he tells him off for destroying his treasure. Buggy replies, "Don't be stupid, treasure's gold and silver and shiny things." So, yeah, we have ourselves a theme here. Buggy may only be interested in coin, but he's not above destroying the town to spite an old man. There's a joke in here somewhere about Buggy cutting off his nose to spite his face, but I'll be darned if I can find it.
Do you have any idea how to make a joke out of that? Perhaps you have an amusing anecdote about noses, or a crippling fear of clowns that we can exploit.
Why not write to us at Blue Peter Monster, BBC Television Centre, London W12. I'll repeat that, Blue Peter Monster, BBC Television Centre, London W12. And please remember to get permission of an adult before sending any post.
Something to remember, the closing date is Wednesday, December the 6th.
Yes, so I should get a move on, and who knows, your entry may end up on Doctor Who itself.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing these designers, I'll tell you that.
Well, Team Luffy appears, much to the mayor's annoyance, as he wanted to sort this out himself. Luffy promptly smashes his head into a wall to keep him safe. He's probably not someone you'd want to hire as a babysitter. Luffy then taunts Buggy, calling him Big Nose again, and you have no idea how tempted I am to pull up a clip of Monty Python's Life of Brian. Anyway, enraged, Buggy orders the firing of another Buggy Ball straight at Luffy, who puffs up into a balloon and bounces the cannonball back. That's actually quite clever. Well, Buggy's fine. He defended himself by holding up two of his subordinates, but I have to ask, since his hands are detached Rayman style, is he using his arm strength to pick them up, or just his hand strength? Either way is quite impressive, though I guess whatever magic is propelling his hands through the air could be used to bolster his strength. Even so, that's quite a grip he has. Moji is fine as well because... Anyway, he warns Buggy that Luffy is a rubber man. Oh, and there's this guy, Kabaji. He's fine as well, defending himself by holding up Richie as a shield. Richie is rather frightened of Kabaji to show that Kabaji is a tougher opponent than the mid-boss. Moji is quickly taken out of the picture as a visual representation of this. So Kabaji strides in as the next opponent.
Stride?
Kabaji rolls in as the next opponent. You see, Kabaji, Chief of Staff, is an acrobat swordsman, which means of course this is Zoro's fight. Which, considering Kabaji's on a fucking unicycle, should have ended as soon as Zoro blocked the first attack, because trying to sword fight on a unicycle is bloody stupid. Kabaji notes the wound from earlier and breathes fire in Zoro's face, then kicks him in the side. I am 100% sure that fire breathing does not work that way. Or unicycles. Well, Kabaji has more tricks. Using his sword to bellow up some dust, he gets another kick in. And I've just noticed that the streets are cobbled, which means just manoeuvring on a unicycle would be ridiculously hard, not to mention that needlessly long coat and scarf that reaches down to the ground. I don't know what it is about this that gets to me. One Piece practically runs on cartoon physics, and this is far from the wackiest thing that will ever happen, but there is a swordsman on a unicycle. I mean, really? Anyway, Zoro is suffering, but he is all about the pride, so when Kabaji charges in with his sword, Zoro just lets him get the attack in. I like to think that Zoro is so gobsmacked that a swordsman would even attempt to fight using a unicycle that he is intentionally handicapping himself to give Kabaji a chance.
I mean, he is intentionally handicapping himself, just not for that reason. Still, short of cutting a leg off, there isn't much more he can do to weaken himself, so he may as well fight back.
Meanwhile, Nami, a bit freaked out, wanders off to nick some stuff of Buggy's. Back with a fight, Kabaji throws a load of spinning tops at Zoro. I'm guessing we missed the scene where Kabaji asked for a timeout and then got all the tops to pre-spin before chucking them. Zoro just cuts them all in half. Personally, I would have been tempted to just let them hit me. I suspect that Kabaji was a fan of Beyblade but somehow misinterpreted the rules. That's why you have to be careful what dubs you watch. After that, the acrobat, in serious mode, dive bombs from the air. I'm going to ignore the fact that he just rode a unicycle up a wall. During this, Buggy attempts to hold Zoro down, but Luffy blocks him. Clearly, Buggy has no respect for one-on-one duels. Anyway, Zoro rolls away, dodging the attack. Meanwhile, again, Nami has found the treasure room, which includes crowns, as per regulation.
Is this your pile of treasures, sir? Why, yes it is. I've spent many a year a plundering this bodacious booty. I don't see a crown, mate. I beg your pardon. Article 9, Section 4 of the Pirate Code clearly states that all piles of treasure above £30 must contain pirate chests, pearly necklaces, shiny gold coins, and at least one crown. I'm sorry, I don't have one. I don't even think it's possible. I mean, there are considerably more pirates with piles of treasure than there are dead kings who are rich enough to warrant golden crowns. If you don't have a crown, I'll have to give you a ticket, sir. Where am I supposed to get a crown? Used crowns, 100% authentic used crowns. The sound is a pound, get 'em here. Oh, hello, Ed. Hello, Ted. Give me the fucking crown.
A drunk finds Nami sniffing around the treasure, and Nami uses her feminine wiles to dispatch him. That and a fold-up staff. Luckily, he had the key to the chest that contains the chart to the Grand Line. Back with the action, Kabaji charges in for a finishing blow, and then Zoro defeats him instantly with his onigiri. This is a bit of a pun as it translates as Demon Slash and Rice Ball. Also, Zoro could have finished this fight in like a minute rather than taking an entire episode. Anyway, after this, Zoro falls down to sleep off his life-threatening injuries. We also see that Nami has bagged up the treasure and is ready to leave Orange Town. She seems a bit hesitant though. Luffy and Buggy converse, and Luffy tells him that he's the man who'll become the king of the pirates. Buggy replies, he's not the king of the pirates, he's a very naughty boy.
Oh, it's such an honour. I'd like to thank my parents, the guy who gave me this beer so I could pretend it was an award, and William H. Macy, and of course, where would any of us be without anime? Jesus, he was there for us all. Oh, I didn't know this was going to happen. I would have prepared. 47 years ago, this joke started out as a mere idea. A glint in my eye, but I said...
Wow, that impression was shit. That sounded more like Mickey Mouse than it did Monty Python. Actually, Buggy plans to be king of the pirates himself and obtain all the world's treasures. Buggy finds Luffy quite annoying, especially that straw hat of his that reminds him of a certain red-haired man, which obviously means he has met Shanks, which Luffy confirms. Luffy would quite like to know what Buggy knows about Shanks, but he ain't getting any information for free, so they'll have to fight. Buggy's shoes have daggers in them as well, which means like his hands he can fling his legs at the enemy like a throwing star and have them return to him. Luffy has to make use of his stretchy arms to grab a pillar and drag himself out of the way. He then retaliates with a gum pistol. Buggy deduces that this leaves him open for attack, but Luffy contracts, bringing his entire body forwards for the gum sickle, which Buggy dodges by flying his head up. In contrast with the Zoro vs Kabaji fight, I am actually completely comfortable with how Buggy and Luffy's powers work, although I'm pretty sure that Luffy's punching hand would have to be holding something heavy for Luffy to be able to drag himself forward like that, otherwise his hand should just uselessly contract back to him. For the first time someone has an edge on Luffy. Buggy shoots his knife-filled hand at him using the chop cannon. While Luffy blocks it by catching Buggy's arm, Buggy then separates again, launching just the fist at Luffy's face. Again, I found this quite clever. And now Luffy is the angry one. Not because Buggy has managed to cut Luffy, but because he managed to cut the Straw Hat, which is, of course, Luffy's treasure. Buggy is as spiteful as ever as he uses this opportunity to attack the hat, and reminds us again that treasure is gold, jewels, crowns. It displays its own grandeur. When he finds out that it was indeed Shanks' hat, he reveals that Shanks and him once sailed together back when they were noobs. Buggy is evidently not a fan of Shanks. Luffy is enraged that Buggy could even compare himself to him, and runs in for the gut punch. It seems that Buggy has a harder time anticipating which part of himself to dodge in close-range combat, and I guess that this has earned Luffy some of Buggy's backstory, as he reveals that Shanks is the one man he cannot forgive. So we transition to flashback where a young Shanks and Buggy are arguing over which of the poles are the coldest. The answer's the South Pole, by the way. On our planet anyway, I can't say for sure about the One Piece world. Well, their argument is stopped by this guy. One Piece is absolutely stuffed full of foreshadowing and callbacks, to the point of absurdity. This guy, for instance, is quite important, but we don't get an explanation of who he is until episode 400. And just so we are clear, this is episode 8 we are on now. For now, we'll just say that this is the first mate of this particular ship. Well, the pirates attack another ship, and Buggy finds a treasure map on one of the bodies. Taking a look at it, it appears that said treasure is located at the bottom of the sea. He pockets the map, keeping it to himself, and we move on to that night, where the pirates are celebrating a successful raid. Buggy uses this opportunity to get a better look at the map before he is interrupted by young Shanks. They seem like friends. They discuss the future where Shanks plans to have his own crew. It seems that Buggy has similar plans, saying that while he respects Shanks' fighting prowess, he is too soft-hearted to join in Buggy's hypothetical crew. One day they may even have to fight each other. The conversation moves on to their ill-gotten loot, which includes a devil fruit, noting that they are supposed to give you great powers at the cost of your ability to swim. Buggy says that it would be stupid to eat something like that, mainly because it would hinder him from getting the ocean floor treasure. His interest is suddenly piqued, however, when he learns that it would sell for 100 million belly. He immediately sets out to steal it, somehow creating an exact replica to eat in front of the crew, so he can keep the real one for himself. The crowd seem rather disappointed when it doesn't work. A couple of things here. It's a pretty damn nice crew that says, hey, we found this super magical fruit that gives you powers. Hey, anyone can eat it. Do you want it? It's yours. And secondly, more importantly, if Buggy can create a fake devil fruit that looks exactly the same, why doesn't he sell them? Anyway, Buggy plans to jump ship with his neat stuff, but is again interrupted by Shanks and accidentally swallows the fruit. In his rage, he also drops the treasure map and almost drowns trying to get it back, having to be rescued by Shanks. Luffy seems impressed by Shanks' retrospective actions, but Buggy complains that this has set him back by 10 years. And then he had a revelation. If he can't go underwater, he'll have to get all the treasure on the land instead, with his powers! It took him 10 years to figure out that he could use his powers on land to steal treasure. Wow. He has also just noticed that Nami is attempting to steal his treasure, so the top half of him flies off to get her, leaving his legs exposed. He didn't think that through, really. Outside of the town, the folk of the town, the townsfolk, are starting to get a bit worried about the mayor, and they collectively decide to go rescue him. Luffy advises Nami to drop the treasure, lest she get chased by Buggy again. She refuses since she stole it fair and square. Buggy does not follow this logic, however, and launches the Chop Chop Festival. While the many pieces can fly as they please, it seems that his feet have to still walk on the ground, which seems a bit strange since he launched his legs earlier. While this means he can basically fly, he has, for the second time, left a rather obvious opening, which Luffy takes advantage of. Nami distracts Buggy by accidentally giving him his treasure back. Then Luffy gives Buggy a kick to the face, which he assuredly earned. He's not down yet, folks. Buggy assembles. Well, sort of. In the 5 seconds Buggy was talking, Nami managed to tie most of the Buggy pieces into a neat package. Not sure where she keeps getting this rope from.
Alright, way to go, thief!
Stop it now!
See ya, Buggy! Now come, go!
Luffy then wakes up Zoro by slapping him in the face, which I guess is still a lot better than waking up because your building blew up. Luffy's happy though. They now have a map and a navigator. They go to wake up the mayor, but the townsfolk appear, seeing their mayor out cold. Luffy tells them that he did it, and that they are pirates. So the trio leg it off with the militia in tow. Shushu backs the heroes up. Not that they were in any real danger, the townsfolk obviously posed no threat to Luffy. The Straw Hats meet the clown trio from before, who are still a tad miffed that Nami had stolen their boat, but soon change their tune when they realise that Zoro is there as well. Elsewhere, Boodle wakes up realising that Luffy and friends have taken care of Buggy. He's rather irritable, for a few reasons, but mainly because they had left without saying goodbye. He manages to catch up before they leave and thanks them.
Don't worry about it! Take it easy!
Damn you young ones. Damn you young ones.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it? That's very nice!
It's shown that Luffy had left behind one of the bags of treasure to help the townsfolk repair their town, which pisses off Nami to no end. She should be a little bit more understanding about something like this, considering her circumstances. She does like her treasure, though. And so the trio set sail, possibly to meet this long-nosed fellow. Possibly.
So before I do the roundup, I wanted to talk briefly about the first arc. Now, I'd called it the Romance Dawn arc, but I know a lot of people know them as the Alvida arc and the Morgan arc. If you haven't checked out that review yet, go check it out, otherwise this next bit might not make very much sense.
There are a couple of themes introduced in those arcs that I'd completely forgotten to talk about, so I thought I'd squeeze them in here quickly. First off is that of dreams, that is to say, their ambition. It's a fairly simple one, but everyone who joins Luffy's crew has a dream, and a good deal of other characters in the series as well. Hell, the series practically runs off it. The story of Kobe only goes to show what someone has to be able to do to even begin their dream, and that wasn't the last time we'll be seeing of Kobe.
There is also the matter of title. Luffy's dream is to be the king of the pirates. That in of itself has an intrinsic value to him. It's a romantic ideal. But he's not necessarily interested in what that would afford him, whether that be wealth, fame or power. His goal is merely to reach the pinnacle, to be the man that had reached the pinnacle.
Contrast that to Morgan, who takes pride in being a captain to the point that he is insistent that just by being a captain that he is infallible. He goes to great pains to be celebrated and to generally gain as much as he possibly can by using his title. Morgan is not interested in the title itself, but what can be gained by it.
Okay, let's come back to the Buggy arc, shall we? Now, it will come as no surprise that the main theme here is that of treasure. It basically boils down to what a person finds most precious in this world. The definition changes depending on who the person is. Now, there are two things that I find interesting here. First, both Nami and Buggy find value in treasure of great monetary value. Now, we will later find out that Nami has a rather sympathetic reason for this, but even after that issue is resolved, she still finds value in it.
Secondly is this. While Buggy is the villain here, he still has a romantic view of piracy and treasure. We're told that if Buggy had sold his devil fruit and obtained the treasure from the bottom of the ocean, he would have still set sail. All this did was delay him. This tells me that he's not interested in just having lots of money, he's interested in shiny things. He has a romantic view of piracy. It's interesting because it's something he shares with Luffy, and it's why, even though they have different outlooks on life, Shanks considered Buggy a friend. Hell, he probably still does.
In the next arc, we'll meet someone who doesn't have a romantic view of piracy, and Luffy and the crew will seek out the most important thing they are currently missing. A ship.
Looks like we finally have a navigator in our crew.
Can I call you Bob? You may call me Murray. I am a powerful demonic force. I am the harbinger of your doom. And the forces of darkness will applaud me as I stride through the gates of hell, carrying your head on a pike.
Stride?
All right, then roll. Roll through the gates of hell. Must you take the fun out of everything?